The answer to that puzzle of where the long run growth is going to come from is very simply technology. Let's look at the laundromat example. The growth in laundromat is not going to come from adding more and more washing machines, but it's going to come from better machines. You replace your old machines with new high efficiency washers that would clean in 25 minutes instead of 45 minutes. You create a new business model. You introduce some app based booking so that the customers don't waste their time waiting. Or you do some innovation. You use some smart sensors that optimize the machine operations. All of that is technology. When you improve upon that technology, that's when the growth is going to come from. But some of you are going to object to that. And you're going to basically tell me that, how can I be so sure? I was very hopeful of capital because I could always add more capital, but then we figured out this diminishing returns property. Why would that property not act on technology? In other words, why would we not run into diminishing returns with respect to technology? This is my favorite clip. And in this one, I'm going to explain to you why we will not run into diminishing returns with technology. Let us go back and define what is technology. Let me see what your answers would be. You would say this phone is a technology, Android is a technology, yes it is. The camera is a technology, yes it is. TV, the 4G spectrum is a technology, yes it is. Washing machine is a technology, yes it is. The remote is a technology, yes it is. But these are all examples of technology. What is technology really? The answer to that is technology is simply ideas. What you see here as this flashlight here is an idea by Edison. The electricity that powers it is an idea by Faraday. The air conditioner that runs in the background is an idea of how air conditioning engines work. Computing is an idea. The chair that I'm sitting on is an idea. All of these things are literally just ideas. They were just ideas at some point in time. Somebody had a brilliant idea, tested it out, invented something that got popularized. Everybody starts using it, it becomes a thing. But it all starts from idea. An idea is different from a thing. Can you take a guess on why? Ideas are fundamentally different from a thing is because when I use this remote, then this gentleman who is sitting behind the camera cannot use it because I am using that remote. When I am sitting on this chair, I am using this chair, nobody else can use it. When I am looking at and using this particular computer, then I am using it, you can't use it. My usage will preclude your usage. You can't use it because only I can use it at that point in time. Similarly, as laborers, as human beings, I can only be present here at this particular point in time. I can't be present elsewhere. My usage will preclude your usage. That is what is true about a thing. But that is not true about ideas. I could use the same idea as you could at the same time. In fact, we already are. You are looking at this particular lecture and consuming it through a device. That device uses the same computing, the same battery ideas, the same software ideas as the devices that I am working on. Both of us are using the same ideas at the same time. My usage of those ideas do not preclude your usage. In the case of laundromat, if I am using the machine, you can't use it. But the idea of a washing machine itself is something that can be used by both of us. It can be used in Bombay and Delhi and Singapore simultaneously. But the idea, which is the washing machine, the idea of inventing washing machine, that whole thing that comes together is something that is different from the washing machine as a thing itself. The idea is because it is not a thing, it doesn't wear out like a machine. A machine will wear out. I mean, your phone will probably have a life of about 4 to 5 years at best. The computer will wear out, but the code will not. The Excel formula can run on one computer or 1 million computers at the same time. This property is called as non-rivalrous in economics. That's an economics term, non-rivalrous. My usage of it does not rival your usage of it. Ideas are non-rivalrous, machines are rivalrous in nature. My usage will fundamentally preclude your usage. Ideas live. The motor design of the washing machine is an idea. The Faraday's law powering that motor is an idea that continues to live for hundreds of years. The centrifugal force principles are an idea. How the molecules interact with the soap and the water and the cloth fabric, that is an idea. Bernoulli's principles that are at operation in the washing machine are an idea. Newton's laws are an idea. Pythagoras' theorem is an idea. Ideas live forever. They can be used by anyone without impeding the usage of others. Of course, you may exclude some people from using it for a certain time, and that is what the entire patent, etc. is about. But mind you, this is a fine difference. That is about exclusion, which I am imposing on top of it through man-made laws. But fundamentally, ideas by themselves are non-rivalrous. And that is how they are fundamentally different from machine. That is how technology is different from machine. So back to our growth question. Growth runs into a wall because of diminishing returns to capital. Ultimately, the thing that will rescue it from this trap will be technology. Growth will ultimately come from development of technology, and since development of technology is about the development of ideas, the question to really ask is that how do we produce ideas? Can monetary policy produce ideas? Can fiscal spending produce ideas? Can capital controls produce ideas? Can government borrowing produce ideas? How do you create and incentivize the Newtons, the Einsteins, and the Faradays? That is a question I will leave you to answer, and I'll see you in the next segment.